All right, test review, chapter 4. So you don't really need this. You have your yellow card, but it is there. Graph triangle ABC with vertices 2, -1. So that means right 2, down 1. -3, -1. So that's left 3, down 1. So this is my A, this is my B, and my C is 0, 2. Don't move left or right, just put a dot at 2. Straight up. There's C. Okay. Now, we're translating it, which means to move it, and here's what we're doing. Remember, x plus 2, that means to go right. Y minus 1 means down. So I'm going to simply move all these points 2 spaces to the right and down 1. So A is going to go 1, 2, like so. But remember, you can also add 2 and subtract 1. And that's where we end up, 4, -2. Whatever way you're comfortable with. For these, I prefer just counting. So left 2, down 1. Left 2, down 1. Make your new triangle and label A prime, B prime, C prime. Okay. Graph the polygon's image after reflection the given line. Remember, x equals is a vertical line. Okay, it does not run parallel to the x-axis. It goes through the x-axis. This is because x is always 1. So if I had a bunch of points, it'd be 1, 0, 1, 5, 1, -3. X is always 1, which means it is a vertical line going through 1. There's my line of reflection. So I'm going to count from this point. All right, so A is easy because A is on the point of reflection. We're not counting to the y-axis, we're counting here. So this is also A prime. Now B is 1, 2, 3 spaces away to the right. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 spaces to the left. Again, left of the dotted line, not the y-axis. That's my B prime. C is 1, 2 to the right, so I'm going to go 1, 2 to the left. That's my C prime. And there's my new triangle. Notice, if I'm translating it or reflecting it, it does not change the shape or the size. All right, y equals x. That is off of our yellow card, okay? That is reflecting over this line right here. So when we have y equals x, we just switch the points. So I'm going to actually label A, B, and C here to make life easier. So A is at 6, -3. B is at 1, -2. And C is at 4, 1. Now, unfortunately, this graph does not provide enough space because we're going to do A prime, B prime, C prime right here first. And remember, all we do is switch the x and the y. So this is going to become -3, 6, -2, 1, and 1, 4. So I'm going to work backwards. 1, 4 is going to be right here. So that's my C prime. B prime is going to be -2, 1. That's going to be right here. A prime, we're just going to have to imagine. That's why it's good to show the work here. It's -3, 6. So -1, -2, -3 is going to be off a little bit. This is 4, so 6 is going to be approximately up here. Just do your best with it. Okay? Having this right here, makes it help. Makes it easier, to see where you're estimating. So good always to show your work. All right, identify if line symmetry is there at all. Remember, we're not looking at individual letters and going, oh, don't write this down. Oh, the B has symmetry here, the O has symmetry here, the H has symmetry there, the T does not have symmetry. We're not doing that. Okay? If you had, just H here, and that was one of the choices, then we would be looking at just the individual letter. But we're looking at the entire word. So both, there's no way to fold that one. Left, right, up, down, anything. While, again, be careful with this one. You can't go, oh, the W goes this way, the W goes this way and the O goes anyway. You can't do that. So we're looking at just the word. But this one's kind of a tricky one. If you fold it over that way, the W's would lay on top of each other and half the O would lay on the other half of the O. And then back, that's none. Now, when I say none, it's because technically it's not, because if you look at the C, that little part is not on the bottom. So if, it doesn't match unless there was a little part there. And the E, that is a different angle and different size than that part. So technically it is none. But unless you're being really picky, then you could say it folds top to bottom. I would accept either on this one. It was on the test, but I want you to see why technically, specifically, it is none, but I would accept either. Describe any rotations in degrees that map the figure onto itself. Okay, so if I took this figure, okay, like so, I rotated it, I rotated it 90 degrees, that would not work. If I rotate 180 degrees, that would work. So yes, 180 degrees. And that's it, because 270 wouldn't work, nothing in between, okay? And then 360 we don't count because that's a full circle. So that's obvious. All right, I'm gonna do my best I can with this one. Not bad. Okay, so if I rotate this 90 degrees, that works. 180, that works. And 270, that works. Again, we don't say 360 because that goes without saying. So the answer is yes. And we have 90, 180, and 270. Okay, triangle DEF is rotated 180 degrees counterclockwise. What are the new coordinates? Well, let's first identify D, E, and F. So D is -1, -2, -3, and then -1. So -3, -1. Sorry. E is at -1, 1, 2. And F is at 4, 2. Now remember, for 180 degree rotation, X and Y stay in their place. We just make both numbers opposite. So -3, -1 becomes +3, +1. -1, 2 becomes 1, -2. And 4, 2 becomes -4, -2. So let's plot that. So 3, 1 is going to be right here, right 3 and up 1. That's D prime. 1, -2 is going to be right here. That's E prime. Now be careful. I almost just put E prime up where E is, because I almost went -1, +2. Things happen. Be careful. Okay? Double check your work. And -4, -2 means left 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, down 2. Okay? And that's going to be F prime. And it's kind of funny. Hopefully you've all caught me already. I was just pointing out how I almost went and put E prime where E was up at 2. Well, I also didn't go +1. I went -1. Okay, so let's do that again. +1, -2 is going to be down here. Now here's an easy way to remember. I kind of told you this trick. Points are going to go to the opposite diagonal quadrant. So D was down here. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, D was in quadrant 3. It's going to go diagonally this way to quadrant 1. This is another little trick you can do. E was in quadrant 2, so it should end up in 4. And F was in 4, so it should trade places and go up to 2. And that's how it works now. So again, I know what I'm doing. I still made, well, I almost made 2 mistakes. So it happens. Just be careful. But also think of that cheat. And that's what made me think, wait a minute, this is not in the right spot because I should not have had 2 points in any one quadrant because the original shape did not have 2 points in any one quadrant. So mistakes happen. Just learn to check yourself. All right, CDE at 0, 2, -2, 3, and -4, -1. So first off, I'm just going to write these down. I'm going to be doing some math to them. So 0, 2, -2, 3, and -4, -1. Now I'm going to graph them. So 0, 2 is right up here. -2, +3 is up here. And -4, -1 is right here. So here's my C, my D, and my E. Now, I'm doing 2 things. First, I'm doing this one. So be careful. Go in order. So I'm going to move every point left 3 and up 2. Again, if you want to, you can do the math on this. So you're going to subtract 3 from 0. That's going to be -3. That I do know how to write, I promise. And you're going to add 2 to 2. You're going to get 4. For D prime, you're going to subtract 3, so you're at -2. You're going to end up at -5. And 3 plus 2 is 5. And -4 minus 3 is -7. And -1 plus 2, be careful, is +1. That's one way to do it. Or you can just do what I like to do is just slide them. So I'm going to count 3 left and up 2. So from E, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Well, looky there. That's -7, 1. C, and that's E prime. C, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 to left, 1, 2 up. That's at -3, 5, 4, which is what I wanted. So that's C prime. And then D prime, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. And that's at -5, 5, and that's what I wanted. So either way works. Now, I'm going to rotate this shape right here, this one right here, about the origin 90 degrees. So I'm going to use my yellow card, and I'm going to make a new chart of C, D, and E, double prime, double prime, double prime. Okay, 90 degrees. Now remember, with 90 degrees, the trick is you're going to switch them, okay? And when the Y moves into the first spot, it's going to become opposite. So for C, the 4 is going to move here and become opposite. The 5 is going to move here in D and become opposite, and the 1 is going to become opposite here. Since these were all positive, these are all negative. And then the -3 just slides over, the -5 just slides over, the -7 slides over. And now I plot those points. So remember, this is up in quadrant 2, 90 degrees. It should end up down here. Let's see if it works. -4, -3. So left 4, down 3 is right here. That's so far so good. -5, -5, left 5, down 5. So far so good. -1, -7. Well, that's 4, 5, 6, 7 is going to be a little bit off the chart right here, but still in that quadrant, so we are looking good. So this is C double prime, D double prime, and E double prime. Go in order. All right, graph each polygon. Then transform WXYZ onto CDEF. So -3, 1 is left 3, up 1. 2, 1 is right 2, up 1. 4, -4, right 4, down 4. -5, -4, left 5, down 4. So we have a nice isosceles trapezoid, it looks like. Okay, so I'm going to label again. This is W, this is W, this is X, this is Y, and this is Z. Now we're going to map or do the other shape, CDEF. So C is at -1, -3. That's C. D is at -1, 2. E is at 4, 4. And F is at 4, -5. Now remember, these have got to line up, so W, X, Y, Z has got to match up to C, D, E, F. In other words, W has to move to where C is. Okay? So let's look at the numbers. -3, 1 and 1, -3. Well, what happened here? Well, it looks like they switched positions. All right? The -3 stayed -3, but the 1 became opposite. Interesting. Let's look at the next one. 2, 1, -1, 2. Well, it looks like they switched positions. The 2 moved to the second spot. The 1 moved and turned negative. What does that sound like? Where does it happen where the X moves here and the Y moves here and becomes negative? That's a 90-degree turn. So this is a 90-degree rotation. If we rotated this bad boy, well, it's not gonna work. There we were. Like that, it would end up like that. It would be moved over, but you get the general idea. It would move into this like here and be that shape and matches up. All right, JKL 4, 2. Whoops, sorry about that. 4, 2. 2, -4. And 0, 0. So that's JKL. And we're going to do that on both of them. So here's L, here's J, and here's K. Same triangle. We're just going to do 2 different dilations. So I have J prime, K prime, L prime. If you want to write these down again, you can. They're right there. Now, our scale factor of K is 1/2. We are just going to multiply every number by 1/2. We gave you all even numbers. It's easy. So, J, half of 4 is 2. Half of 2 is 1. K, half of 2 is 1. Half of -4 is -2. Be careful. And 0, 0, half of that is just 0, 0. All right? So I'm going to plot those points. 0, 0. So that's my L prime. 2, 1. That's my J prime. And 1, -2. That's my K prime. And there is my little triangle there. It is half the size of the other one. And it's shrunk, kind of coming into the origin. Now in this one, notice 3/2 is really 1.5. So, or 1.5. We are getting bigger. Okay, so again, I'm going to put my J prime, K prime, L prime. And if you need to use a calculator for this, that's fine. Otherwise, all you're doing is going to multiply each of these numbers here by 3 and divide by 2. You can do it in your head. You can do it like this. or you can use a calculator and just multiply everything by 1.5. Okay? Either way, it's fine. Whatever works for you, whatever you understand better. So 4 times 1.5 is 6. 2 times 1.5 is 3. 2 again is 3. Negative 4 is going to be negative 6. And 0, 0, again, not changing, because anything times 0 is still 0. So I'm going to start with that one. There's L prime. All right? 3, negative 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's K prime. And 6, 3. There is J prime. All right, that is my bigger shape. And if you remember, it's going out from the origin. So if you think about it, remember, notice how these lines match up on those shapes? If you remember our original drawing in our notes, we had this and we had like a shape here, a bobby pin, and we had a bobby pin here, okay, going along the same paths. All right, FGH at negative 2, comma 2, negative 2, negative 4, and negative 4, negative 4. So F, G, and H. Okay, it says graph that, which we did, and its image after the transformation. So again, we're doing two things here. All right, so I have my F prime, G prime, H prime. This is my K. This is my scale factor. This is just like the previous problem, except it's written differently. But that's K equals 3/4. So again, that's the same as 0.75. So if you want to use your calculator, you're just going to multiply all these numbers times 0.75. Which unfortunately is not going to be that nice on this one because, you know, we're going to have some decimals and we're going to have some estimating on drawings, and that's okay. Okay? So if you take your calculator, right, and take negative 2, okay, times 0.75, you get negative 1.5. Or negative 1.5. And if you do positive 2 times 3/4, you're going to get positive 1.5. Again, negative 2 is going to give you negative 1.5 again. And negative 4 times 0.75 is going to give you negative 3. And H prime, we just said what negative 4 was, so that's going to be negative 3, negative 3. So our first transformation is going to be at negative 1.5, 1.5, about right there. And then negative 1.5, negative 3, about right there. So here's F prime, and here's G prime. And negative 3, negative 3. Okay, that's going to be this little triangle right here. Same shape, just a little bit smaller. Now we're going to reflect it across the x-axis. That's this axis right here. So this is one where we just count. Okay? So F double prime, G double prime, H double prime. All we're doing is counting. So F prime is 1.5. Oh, I messed that up. That should be a little taller. Sorry. It should be a little bit higher up here. At 1.5. So it is 1.5 above the line. So I'm going to put it 1.5 below the line. G prime. So that's going to be, again, it's still going to be negative 1/2 here, but it's going to be negative 1.5 here. All right? This is not going to change. I'm not going any further left or right, but instead of negative 3, it's going to be up here at positive 3. All right? And then this is going to say negative 3, but become positive 3. So it's going to look like this. So, sorry, it's very crowded, a lot going on, but that's what it would look like. So first we took that triangle and we shrunk it, and then we flipped it over the x-axis. So everything down below the line went above the line, everything above the line went down below the line. Kind of a nasty one. And that's it.